Are you having trouble defeat the Hive Mother in Core Keeper? What if I told you there was a guaranteed way to do it and all you would need was a few tools, maybe 8 or 12 spike traps and at least some sort of long range weapon like the slingshot or the musket? I'm going to show you guys how you can do it without taking a single bit of damage if you're a little bit quick on your feet. Oh yeah, and bring plenty of torches. Let's go. So the Hive Mother is pretty tough. It will spawn a whole bunch of grubs that will land. It fires off these huge bombs of acid that do you damage when they hit. And then of course you take damage as you run over. And the grubs that spawn here as well, the larvae, they tend to be a little bit harder hitting. They notice there's a little bit more red colour to them. And it does look like the grubs or larvae can dig through a whole bunch of materials. Although maybe not the larvae walls themselves. So that might be something worth considering when you're doing this method. So you could do what we tried the first attempt. Me and Midlands Mayhem, one of my rat bags, came and helped me, and we tried just putting a whole bunch of traps around him to see if that could be a good method. And it will help, it will reduce the grubs, and we nearly got the Hive Mother down to under half health. But it wasn't enough. She goes super turbo and then we were brown bread. So what can you do? Well, don't activate the actual Hive boss. You can go around and set up the area, and instead of just placing traps randomly hoping to catch grubs, you want to build a little bit away and so that you can still see the Hive Mother. And what you can see while I'm running along here, we're going to have some traps. Now the more traps you've got the better, but you can get away with doing this with probably just 8 maybe 12 traps. We're effectively going to be digging out a space and making a trench in front of us so the mobs can't hit. You can see our first method where we just put a whole bunch of these traps down. That could be viable, but like I said, you'd need to craft a bunch of them. That's a lot of tin to waste, although you will be using it again for mob farms, and you might have even used this method to take out the first slime boss. Instead, we decided to build our little platform here and give ourselves a little bit of space, but there was one problem. The acid was still coming and hitting us, and we weren't quick enough in digging it out. Me and Midlands tried a whole bunch of stuff. We tried putting slime down to maybe aggravate more slimes to spawn because they fight the actual larvae, or I figured that maybe the slime would neutralise the acid that falls or spawns, and that would be a bit better. But of course you're going to be moving slowly across that slime, so it's not particularly great. We tried even digging walls all around it, so maybe the grubs wouldn't be able to get at us and we'd have a bit more area for them to kind of follow, but they simply will dig in and around any of the sand or dirt.
Oh, they're digging through. They're digging through sand.
Maybe if you use stone, or maybe if you use the actual larvae walls, they can't get through it. But from what I could tell, it looked like they could break through the majority of the walls. And to be honest, it was a rubbish idea, because it didn't mean that we could do much damage, and it would have to rely on these guys coming through. So yeah, you get the idea. Build a trench at least 4 vertically high, then that way you'll be running up and down. Give you plenty of space, because you've still got to be able to dodge the acid that's going to fall, and put a whole bunch of torches down. The torches will stop the acid from actually spreading on the ground. Now maybe this works with the floor traps as well, but as I said, you need to craft a whole bunch of these and absolutely pepper the area. And there are some spots where you can't put the traps down. This adds another layer of security so that mobs can't get you, and it does mean also you won't have to use as many resources. Few things to be careful. You'll notice a little grub ahead north of me. He's about to jump across and do us a little bit of damage. So that did panic us a little bit, but actually that was the only mob that done so. And I didn't even know that was a thing. They could actually jump across gaps like that. So you may want to dig a trench at least 2 wide, but that will take quite a while. So you obviously are going to need a decent shovel at least, or something like a salvage bench so you can go ahead and repair your weapons. Sadly, that one little grub did take Midlands out, but I was able to manage to carry on and re-put a bunch of torches everywhere and make it safe again. Now I've got a musket and Midlands had a slingshot, so we're both just peppering it off. So bear that in mind as well. If you're doing this on your own, it will take a longer time, but it will guarantee that you'll do it. Especially if you're doing a hardcore playthrough, then this is the best way to minimise the actual risk. You can see a bunch of the grubs are getting killed on the spikes, and obviously that's the idea. And the larger area you've got, then the more chance that they will go and hit them spikes. But if you funnel it the right way, you could get away with doing this with just maybe 8 or 12 spikes just directly in front of the trench so that they'll spend their time getting killed there. And then that's it. All you got to do is avoid the actual acid drops. Like I said, they don't spread with torches underneath them, so you can just simply move up and down. And as long as you don't take a direct hit from them, you'll be good to go. You should be able to get a shot off from the musket every single time one of these drops falls. Or if you are using other stuff, then make sure you've got accessories or armor that's going to give you a boost to your range damage. I think this is miles better than just running around the actual boss and hoping that the spike traps will take care of the majority of the grubs. It does take a bit longer. All in all, this took around 6 minutes of continuous firing at the Hive Mother to get it down to low health. But I'm definitely going to be doing this method when I do my hardcore first run. You can see a whole bunch of the grubs just to the other side of the cavern north of me, and you see they can't get across that gap, so it seems like it's only the smaller ones that do. And so if you're doing this solo or with friends, this will be a great method to take him on.
Dead?
He's dead. He's dead.
GG.
He's dead. Also, I like this method rather than using all these actual traps, because then you don't have to take them with you and move them back again anytime you want to farm this boss to try and get more loot. You obviously should know by now you're able to buy summoning idols from some of the NPCs. That means that if you come back here, you can summon the Hive boss again and take him out once more. So this is what I got, a broken handle. That's part of a big mega weapon you can get. It does pretty good damage on its own at least, so definitely going to be using that going forward. Whole bunch of raw iron, raw gold, obviously larvae meat and maybe some fibre. And then we did get a little bit of the shards and the heart of the Hive, of course, to put in the core. So once you place the horn, the drop inside the core, that will allow you to hopefully then activate the full core itself and get a nice bit of story, which I'm going to let play out right now. It's basically going to talk to you and say they have awakened us and that there was a civilization here years before. Never have we seen a creature like thee. There was once a thriving civilization here, but all seems lost now. We have been dormant for many, many eons. It basically asks you to go and destroy the souls or collect the souls of some of the other titans roaming around the world. And apparently with that energy, you'll be able to restore what you once had, and we will be sent back to where we came. Not gonna lie, I was a bit disappointed I didn't get anything extra special or big or from this, but it does mean that you'll now be able to go to where you maybe found a border or world border. They will be able to go past that now and take on the other 3 bosses that are in the game. So what kind of loot do you get? Well, you're going to get a lava spike club, does 112 to 136 melee damage, 2.5 attack per second, and 50% chance to knock back with a durability of 350. You'll have to craft it using iron bars, larvae meat, and wood, but it's a pretty decent one. Then we've got the grub Zuka, which does 82 to 100 range damage, 0.7 attack per second, projectiles pierce through enemies, durability for 150. That's going to cost 20 iron bars and 15 of the grub meat. Then ancient hologram pod, which I don't know what it really does. I haven't made one yet. 10 ancient gemstones and 10 mechanical parts, which I'll show you guys when I do my all accessories and all weapons drop from the cores. That video is coming very soon, so if you want to kind of get an idea of what to expect with the loot, then I will give you a heads up for all 3 bosses. Although you should probably know by now if you've been following my other boss guides, which you should absolutely go check out, and the rest of my Core Keeper content. So many guides, and I'm starting my hardcore Let's Play run right now. So that's it. I hope you've been enjoying this. If you've got any other tips, if you think there's a better method to defeating the Hive Mother, do let me know. But I think that's one of the most efficient. I think it means that you don't have to do as much prep every time you come back to farm it, and it's something that everyone can go and do as long as you've got a pickaxe, some torches, a shovel, and some sort of long range weapon. Until next time, rat bags, I will catch you later.